build our nation.
Yes, sir.
That's it. That's what we have to do. You know?
I feel you. On Sunday, it was a great lecture. Spirituality, unseen science, right? I thought about something, right? You know, growing up here, deep south, grandmas, they're always praying. My grandma, you know, in her Bible, spiritual. She always pray over you. Prayers work.
Yeah.
What do you think makes our grandmothers just so spiritual as a people?
You know, what's interesting is in spirituality before religions, I don't say anything negative about any religions.
Yeah.
I don't try to remind Christians or Hebrews or Muslims or Rosicrucians, Buddhists, agnostic. I don't try to say this is where it came from.
Yeah.
What I want to do is I just want to lay it out. I want to present a Kush Kemetic vocalization of spirituality that came out of the minds of the Twa people, who we derogatorily call pygmies.
Yeah.
It was never meant to put any faith system down. Because as we spoke on Sunday at JB's Record Lounge, we talked about the importance of Christianity. I have a lot of respect for Christianity because when we were on the plantation, we needed something that we could hold on to. Our lives were so atrocious. Our experiences were so painful. We could have given up. And Christianity just happened to be that story of a human being that was born. Now, we should have known that he was black.
Right.
From when Mary and Joseph went into the inn and they said, you can't have that child up in here. You have to go into the stable with the cows and the pigs.
Right.
You know, we should have known he was black then, you know, because they had segregation back then.
That's right.
But the idea is the fact that Jesus the Christ was a story that our ancestors could hold on to in the plantation. And had they not had that story, many of them might not have survived. Many of them might have just gone totally berserk, maybe commit suicide, thinking that there was no day. But the story of resurrection, being able to come back, allowed them solace, you know, feelings that it's going to be all right. We can do this.
Yeah.
And so they lived. And because they did what they did, we are here today. And they did what they did because of their belief in Christianity. And so I don't put Christianity down because it solved our problems and met our needs. So that was a good thing. But there's another reality. The other reality is that if a spiritual system no longer solves your problems and meets your needs, it's like you carrying the boat on your back after you crossed over the river. It got you across the river. It got our ancestors through this enslavement process. But if you keep carrying that boat on your back, it becomes a burden on land. And right now, religion is becoming a burden on us. It is creating a concept where we are believing and having faith in something. And belief in faith means that it really don't exist. It only exists because you believe it and you have faith in it. But in spirituality before religions, one of the things that I'm trying to emphasize is that we are born in the image and likeness of the Creator.
That's right.
Therefore, we are the Creator having a human experience. So don't look out here for nothing. Every answer you need was born with you. In fact, every answer you need was born before you were born. And when you got ready to carry out your divine purpose, your mommy and daddy, if I may say it this way, had a big bang and brought you into existence.
That's right.
You were already assigned your task before you were born. It's just like nature. Put all the food on the earth before the human came into existence. All we did was create agricultural science that diversified what the Creator and the ancestors had already given us.
Yeah.
So Christianity for grandma and for great-grandma.
For Big Mama, huh?
Big Mama.
Yeah.
Helped her through those times. Christianity and the story of the loaves and fishes allowed to teach her how you could feed the whole community if something happened. You could take a couple potatoes and onions and create a meal for 8 people. When in reality, for most people, only 2 people could have eaten. And so Christianity solved our problems and met our needs. But right now, when that when that pastor is telling a story and he making that money, and he's telling you that money is the root of all evil, get it up out your pocket. Take the devil out your pocket and put it into the basket. Get rid of him now. Get rid of him. And then he get gas to put in his legs. When he drives 2 hours away, because he live in another community in a beautiful plantation house, if I may call it that, there's a problem with that.
Yeah.
And when your grandma had to walk to church and he rode in a Lex, there's a problem with that. When I go into a church and I see an ATM machine, and that ATM machine say, whatever you say, don't put it in here and think you're going to get change. Don't think that you're going to give us 20 and ask for 10 back. Whatever you put, you're going to give the church. When the church has become an ATM machine, you're not following the way of Jesus. Because I studied Jesus.
That's right.
I know Jesus as a man that sometimes walked the earth with one sandal on because he couldn't afford the second one. I know that Jesus is a man that went out into the desert and fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. And when he would come back, one of his students would have a cool glass of water for him. Jesus would look off to the side and see a child that was parched by the desert. He said, no, give the water to the child. See, if people, with all the, and see, in spirituality before religions, I break down all these concepts and show where it came from Africa, where it came from the African mind. Because isn't that what we do?
Yeah.
Don't we live the life of Jesus the way we are? Because I tell people of European descent, you know, you're lucky we're not like you. Because if we were like you, we would have killed you 200 years ago. The fact that you're still here is an example. You should thank your God that we're not like you. So don't try to get us to be like you. Because if we like you, you're gone tomorrow. In fact, you ain't sleeping tonight. You'll be gone.
That's right. Right now.
If we were like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody talking about peace in South Africa, but ain't nobody talking about peace in Iraq or Iran or in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody talking peace. They're talking about interest, survival. Okay?
Yes,
Are we talking about survival as black folk? So that when you think about grandma, blessings, for her age where she lived, her time, and for what she experienced, Christianity helped her give birth to her grandchildren. So thank you, Grandma. Okay? But there's a new day, a new way of thinking. It's a growth from where you are. I am because you were, therefore I am.
Yes, sir.
But now I'm you at a higher level of thinking. Like when you sing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay, you begin with do and you end with do. But the second do is at a higher octave.
Yes, sir.
And it is because of you, Grandma, that I'm at that second octave. Thank you for all you did.
Yes, sir.
But I can't think like that.
Yeah.
Different times, different day, different way. So I tell people, because I know sometimes people contact me, family, they think you're crazy. Okay, don't tell me nothing about that African stuff. Okay, don't tell me nothing about no revolution or concepts like that. And they say, what can I do? You know, sometimes it's the parents, sometimes it's friends, sometimes it's wife, girlfriend, husband. What can I do? I say, love them. Because they're doing the best they can with what they got. But just as you respect them and let them be who they are, you must demand respect for the way you are and the way you think. And if you can't get with it, then we don't have to talk. When I come over for Misgiving Day, some people call it Thanksgiving.
Right.
When I come over for Kwanzaa, some people call it Christmas. Okay, I can deal with all that because I celebrate everything. Let's not talk about it. Let's talk about the things that make us united. Let's not talk about these things because you know where I'm going to go because I'm not changing. And I'm not going to demand that you change. So if you ain't going to change and I ain't going to change, this is just going to be an argument, and that's going to ruin this family gathering. So let's not just talk about it. That's how I see family. Now, I never had that problem because when I left the church, when I was 14, my mother didn't have a problem.
Wow.
She may have had internal problems, but she never expressed it. My father said, boy, do your thing. But my mother was Roman Catholic. My father was African Methodist Episcopal.
AME, yeah.
You know, AME. Which was the church, by the way, that bought the land that now is Central Park. They moved up to Harlem. And so I respect and honor our people. I understand. And I understand Noble Drew Ali, and I understand the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who then would take that concept and now become the Nation of Islam.
Right.
I understand the Hebrew Israelites. I understand the Buddhists and the Rosicrucian. So I'm not asking you not to be a Christian. I don't have a religion for you. And some of our lives, if you took a life, you looked at it as being on stilts, I may view your stilts as very weak. If I come along and I cut your legs, your house is going to fall. What I'm attempting to do is put stronger stilts, let the weaker ones fall away on their own.
Right.
And so we have to respect each other and love each other and continue this work. And I don't, because we've already been hurt enough.
Right.
I refuse to be another thing that hurts us. I just refuse to do that.
Yeah.
And plus, I want to reach out to the people that want this. I got good news and bad news. Good news is Martin Luther King was right. Dr. King was right. We will make it to the promised land. Good news. The bad news is a lot of us ain't going to make it.
Right.
I'm looking for 3 out of 100. I'm looking for brothers like yourself, Caleb, Sister Sydney. Okay? Brother, please.
Aaron.
Share your name.
Yeah.
Aaron.
Yes, sir.
Brother Aaron. My brother. No doubt about my brother.
Yes, sir.
Okay? It's just important that we all understand, Brother Chase, that we all need to get this done and together. Heru, Naset, you know?
Yeah.
You know, we have to get this together. And we have to push forward with everything that we have. And love and respect people. Think of it as a fireplace where there's 12 logs. You want to start a roaring fireplace. But you can't light all those logs in there because you're going to burn yourself.
Right.
So you light the log that's closest to you. And the first one will light the second to the third to the fourth. And pretty soon it gets to the 12th, you have a roaring fireplace, but you only lit the first log. I'm trying to light the first log. If I tell you the train is leaving the station at 4 o'clock, and people start showing up at 3:45 to make sure they close up on line, and you show up at 4:30, you ain't getting on the train. Maybe next train. But the people in the front gonna get on this one.
Right.
You should have been there on time. So I tell our people, just like Shabaka spoke about, you know, the importance of this document, rewriting it for all to know, the importance of cosmic consciousness. Here it is.
Yeah.
Is it for you? Not for you? If it's not, I understand. You're at 4:30. Other folks say, no, this is me. I like this. They're there by 3:45. When the train leaves at 4, you'll be on.
Yes, sir.
The 4:30 folk, you won't have to wait, hopefully, for the next train, because there's no guarantee the next train coming. So this is how I see what we as people have to do. This is what I've experienced growing and maturing in my life, developing and understanding what happens and looking at what's going on today. March 21st, 2023, a lot of changes going on.
For sure.
Today, a lot of things going to happen. In New York, a lot of things going to happen. Florida, a lot of things going to happen. We have to get ready.
Yeah.
And we have to properly analyze what we're facing as a people and make decisions.
Yeah.
And get that pimp off your back. Stop letting him ride you. Stop letting her ride you. They're parasites. And a parasite has no reason to live. A parasite is the one entity in the cosmic reality that has no reason to live. Its purpose, called a free radical in science. The very dangerous particles from light, heat, energy that come down to Earth, the free radicals is what causes cancer. It's what causes problems in the human being. It's what dries up the Earth so you can't grow food. It contaminates the Earth. That's the free radical. Its only purpose is to attach itself to the living. Its purpose is not to live. Its purpose is to live off the living. It is a vampire. You know, it's funny, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, I consider him a friend of mine. Dr. Khalid used to say to me, brother, I don't talk like you. And now you say, brother Khalid, I don't talk like you.
It's mutual.
But I believe that the world needs to hear what an angry black man sounds like. And I like your style. I like what I hear. But I'm working with children. And so we understood each other. We understood that we both were going in the same direction. We was just taking different modes of transportation. And the concept that I'm looking at is the parasite. He came out years ago and was talking about the bloodsucker. Okay, everybody got very offended and started some stuff back in the 80s. So I did research on a bloodsucker. Came to find out it was a parasite. Got a book called Parasite Rex by Carl Zimmer. Carl with a C. He talked about the origins and development of a parasite. And in his introduction, he says, many of you, as you read this, will be able to make parallels to many different activities on Earth, meaning human beings that are parasites, that have no reason to live. I've got about 5 different people claiming to be Kaba Kamene on Instagram.
Wow.
Okay? Everybody trying to draw stuff.
Right.
Okay? Some of them have an address that sounds like my name, but they might have a dot or a number.
Underscore.
Underscore. There we go. Okay?
Yeah.
Parasites. They have no life. They live off the living. We have humans that are like that. And if the money that you make, that little bit of money that you may make, Grandma, be you a baker, or you take care of children, whatever it is that you do, it should not go into the pocket of somebody that's got that big house.
Yeah.
That should go into what you need to do as a person. There is no middleman between you and the Creator, because you are the Creator having a human experience.
Yeah.
And we just have to understand that. You know, Flip Wilson years ago, Flip Wilson, comedian, just before Richard Pryor. In fact, I've seen a one piece where Richard Pryor is on the Flip Wilson show.
Wow.
And Flip Wilson had a scene, he used to play Reverend Leroy. And there's a scene where he's playing Reverend Leroy and he's talking to the devil. Okay, and he's telling the devil, I'm going to get rid of you. You ain't no good. You taking advantage of people. Every time I talk about the devil, I'm trying to get you out of here. I'm trying to eradicate you, get you off the scene so that the people will live in the glory of God. And the devil looks at him and says, man, shut up, fool. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have a job.
Wow.
I'm young watching this. Wow. And I said, wow, listen to what he's saying. There's people that have an occupation around creating an illusion of an evil person making money on you. And they're getting paid for an illusion. I'm not saying everybody's like that. Because I know some churches that have buildings. I know churches that feed their congregation.
Right.
Educate the children. So Brother Caleb and family, I just want you to know I don't speak in absolutes. Only Sith Lord speak in absolute. I know there's good people out there doing good things for the people. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the pimpastas. The ones that will take advantage of you, tell you those things that when we were on the plantation we needed to hear. But even Nat Turner, in preaching to the people, looking back at the European enslaver, said there's something wrong with this book. Something wrong with this. Because what I'm saying to them ain't how they acting. You know what Nat Turner did, right?
That's right.
Enough said.
Mic drop on that. Yes, sir. Lupe Fiasco, Chicago rapper. It was a line he had on his album Lasers. I think this was like 2012. Science, it tells you how, but it doesn't tell you why. How do we merge spirituality with science?
Bottom line is to understand it's two sides of the same thing. Understand that one could not exist without the other. One brought the other into existence, and that brought the other into existence. Science, electricity, and magnetism. Electricity is a male energy. Magnetism is a female energy. When electrical currents are ignited, magnetic fields are created. When the magnetic fields are created, it creates electrical currents. Electricity lives for magnetism. Magnetism lives for electricity.
Wow.
Science is what you see. Spirituality is what you don't see. But when you're looking at science, you know that spirituality is the unseen version of what you see. When you see and experience spirituality, you understand that it's the science that you can see. Spirituality is unseen science. Science is seen spirituality.
Yes, sir.
You just have to know that it exists. You have to be taught it from when you're a child to understand what it is that you're actually experiencing.
Yeah.
Easier said than done. It's simple, but it's complex. Because if you live in a world where you give to Caesar what is Caesar and God what is God, then it's going to be very difficult to understand that Caesar is God, God is Caesar, and you are both Caesar and God at the same time. It's just what you got to do.
Yeah.
And when you're brought up in a community that has always told you that, it becomes one. When you grow up in a community that has separated it, you have to go back to your original waters where you were. Because remember the crabs in the basket.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay?
Yeah.
We've been taken out of our natural environment. So therefore, what we're looking at is something that is unnatural. But when you go back into your waters, the waters of Nun, the waters from whence you came, the original waters of who you thought and who you be, then you can go back and see that there is no difference between the two. And that one lives for the other lives for the one. It's so difficult to answer the question because it has to be something that you decide.
Yeah.
You have to decide the fact that you are the creator having a human experience. I smiled at God this morning when I watched him brush his teeth. I smiled at God when he was washing his face because I was looking at me.
That's right.
And each and every one of us is the creator having a human experience. But we got some folk that want to say that they're the mediator. So if I remember when in the Roman Catholic Church, they have candles in school, in church. And I remember my mother and I would go to church, and my mother would give me a quarter to light a candle and make a wish. And then I noticed that there was one for $1. That was just a little bit bigger than the one for a quarter. And then the $5 candle, okay? And I used to ask my mother, I used to say, because now I'm thinking economics here. And I'm saying, well, Mommy, we're lighting a 25-cent candle. But if somebody light a $5 candle, will their wish be granted before mine?
Wow, that's right. Wow.
She said, no, Skip. She did her best. No, it just means that the same wishes will be granted, but if you have that kind of money, it's just something that you offer. Okay? That don't make no sense. But to my mother, it did. And my mother honestly believed that. And I look back on my mother, who I believe was probably one of the foremost Christians I have ever known in my life. If there was a human being that lived the life of Christ, it was my mother. And I've known so many others that are very much like that, particularly black folk. You win a Grammy Award. You look up and you thank God. I first want to thank God for this. Why are you thanking God up there when you're the one that sang the song? The creator in you sang that song.
That's right.
You got that award because it's you. But they got us looking out here for something that doesn't exist. That's why on Sunday, when I spoke, I ended the presentation by playing a song. Song that Whitney Houston, I Look to You. And you see, my thing is, I always try to use what I got to get what I want. I was in JB's record lounge, so I said, well, this is music time.
Yes, sir.
So let me use a little bit of music at the end just to explain everything that I had said about spirituality before religions is encapsulated in that song. And wasn't nobody sing that better than Whitney Houston.
Come on. Yeah.
And as the song was playing, I walked them through what it was that the words were saying metaphorically. I look to you. And I asked them, who's you? You is the creator within you. So when you're down, you can't take another breath. When you're tired and you put everything into it that you have, when you don't know what you're going to be able to do next, I look to you. Who is you? You is the creator within that can answer all of your problems.
That's right.
All of your challenges. Can take you to the next level. It's up to you. It ain't about that 25-cent candle. It's not about the dollar candle. It's not about the $5 candle. It's about you. And you going within you. For those sports folk, it's something called fourth quarter drills.
Yeah.
Okay? When you've done just about, you got all your energy out, you can't go no place else. You done used up every piece of energy you have. The fourth quarter drills wake you up to an energy you never thought you had. But you got to get to that point when you need to pull it up to know that it exists.
Yes, sir.
Our ancestors did that every day of their life when they woke up on the plantation. And I pray for that every day. I pray for that energy that they had. Whatever energy they had, please give that to me today.
Yeah.
And if ever I should even dream that I'm having a hard time, I wake up and I apologize
Right.
for even having a dream.
Yeah.
I ain't had no control over the dream, but I got to apologize to even have that thought in my head.
That's right.
Because for what my father did to get me where I am, what my mother. So we don't have to go all the way back to the plantation.
Right.
We can go back to our own parents, our grandparents, our great-great-parents, what they did to get us here. It's absolute miracle.
Yeah.
I celebrate that. I have such a respect for us as a people, for what we've achieved. Own it.
Yes, sir.
Own your greatness. Know it. Apply it. Work with the children. And let them know, as I try to let us know, it's going to be all right.
Right.
The one thing that the devil does, devil don't lie. Devil confuses. Devil give you 1/4 truth, 3/4 lie. You get so caught up in the 1/4 truth, you don't see the 3/4 lie. And what we have to do as a people is to understand the world that we're living in. And just make those plans, Brother Caleb.
Yes, sir.
Make it happen. And the work that you're doing here, I celebrate you.
Likewise.
I celebrate you. Voice of the Ancestors.
Yes, sir.
My brother Chase, I celebrate you. Sister Sydney, the images that you've created here, I celebrate you. You know, for what you're doing for us, what you're doing for me. You know? Brother Aaron, thank you, brother. Nasset, Heru, much appreciation. In Kush Kemet, we say dua, dua'u. It means eternal thanks. It don't mean thank you very much. It means eternal thanks. A thanks that was there yesterday, it is here today, and it'll be there tomorrow. Eternal thank you for all that you're doing to make this happen. And together we're going to make this happen for our people, because it ain't over till we win.
Right.